Shalom, shalom. Kol YAHAWASHI. Kol YAHAWAH Ba. QADASH. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, the men who we learned this truth from. Okay. And shalom, wabarakim to the hopeful elect, if I said that right. Let's see. So I'm gonna, briefly touch on the subject of hell. Lord willing, I'll make a part 2. And Lord willing, I could even make this video in Spanish, Lord willing. But I'm going to go into the more proper salakia on the proper understanding of hell, and Lord willing, shed some proper understanding of hell. And because hell, people think hell is what they think it's some place under the earth or some place where you burn for eternity, which is not the case. Okay. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. First things first. Let's understand what happens when you pass. Salakia, let me first start off with, since I'm already here, the place of judgment. Judgment takes place here on earth. So let's get that understanding first. Then we'll go into hell. So this is Ecclesiastes 3:16, and moreover, this is by the way, this is King Solomon speaking. Moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and that place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. That's right, because that place under the sun is talking about the earth, because obviously the earth is under the sun. Okay, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. Okay, so this clearly is talking about here on earth. Okay, so now we're going to skip down to verse 20. Salaki, I'm going to highlight this real quick. I don't know why I don't have it highlighted. So, this is going to let you know, well, we'll just read it. Ecclesiastes 3:20. All go unto one place. All are of the dust, and all turn to dust again. Right, when you die, your body decomposes, turns to dust, right? Verse 21, who knoweth the spirit of man that goeth upward? That's right, because, when you pass away, your spirit goes up to the spirit world, and then you come back through the process of reincarnation, which I believe I did a video on it, a quick one, which reincarnation means back in the flesh, I believe. I'll go to the etymology really quickly, just so I don't butcher the the true meaning. The definition, Salakia. Fact of repeated incarnation, from meaning back again, incarnation meaning a new embodiment, right? Incarnation. Right, so back in the flesh, if you will. So, the precept on that, might as well go to it, right? Ecclesiastes 1, and let's see if I'll start at 9. Ecclesiastes 1:9. The thing that hath been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Correct. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It hath been already of old time, which was before us. In verse 11, this is the point. There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. That's right. We don't have any. We don't have any remembrance of our past lives. We just come back, new body, and we don't remember our past lives. Okay, so now that we know that the place of judgment is right here on earth, and we know that when you pass away, you go to the spirit world, and then you, I believe it's every 3 or 4 generations, you come back in a new body, right? And then we, play out our judgment here on earth, right? So, now that we know that, so okay, we're going to go to the book of Psalms, because now we're going to go into what the word hell really means, which we're going to go into the Baryath. We're going to go into the Hebrew. And hell it really means the grave, means a grave. And it also is a state of condition, like how brothers would say, catching hell, or, stuff like that. Also, it means, that's what we're going to go into it. Salakia if I sound like I'm rambling. But anyway, this is Psalms 139 and 8. If I ascend up into heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there, right? So we're going to go into the Hebrew. Now the Hebrew, oh, by the way, if you're using the blue letter, I definitely recommend you use it with a more seasoned brother, a brother that's been in the truth longer, that knows the Hebrew, that's well seasoned with the blue letter, well seasoned with the Hebrew, in this truth, well seasoned brother in the truth, because the blue letter does go off sometimes. I can't stress that enough, that you don't want to always be in the blue letter by yourself, unless you're being taught, because sometimes it does go off. But anyway, the Hebrew word for hell is Shah, right up here top. Oh, Salakia. YAHAWAH, which is the Shah, the Ah, the Wa, and then the La. Okay, YAHAWAH. Grave, hell, pit. Okay. Now, just to show that it means grave, we're going to go to the book of Genesis. Genesis chapter 44, I believe, and verse 31. And it shall come to pass, when he seeth that the lad is not with us, that he will die, and thy servants shall bring down the gray hairs of thy servant our father with sorrow to the grave. So we're going to go into the Hebrew word here for hell. Salakia. The Hebrew word here is YAHAWAH as well, and it's talking about a grave, right? YAHAWAH, right there. Okay. So now that we know that hell means, now that we know that hell, the Hebrew word YAHAWAH is talking about a grave. Now let's also go into how it could be used to speaking of a condition. Okay, which brothers probably know this precept in Jonah, the book of Jonah, chapter 2, which Jonah, is, you should know, Jonah, was a prophet, right? That he was in a fish's belly, which you can read the book of Jonah to better understand the story, but for the sake of the video, I'm just going to go to these two precepts in chapter 2. So, this is Jonah 2 and 1. Then Jonah prayed unto Yahawah his power out of the fish's belly. Right? Because he's in the fish's belly. And said, this is Jonah speaking, I cried by reason of mine affliction unto Yahawah, and he heard me. Out of the belly of hell cried I, and thou heardest my voice. Now, before we go into the Hebrew, it's very clear and very evident that Jonah is not in some underworld burning. Okay, he's inside of a fish's belly. Okay, so let's go to the interlinear concordance. The word for hell is YAHAWAH, which Jonah is in a condition. Okay, he is in a low condition. Okay, so same Hebrew word here as was for grave, as it was for hell. Okay, so hell can be talking about the grave. It could also be talking about a condition. Okay, so Lord willing, this was edifying. Like I said, Lord willing, I'll make a part 2 going a little bit deeper, and or explaining it in Spanish, Lord willing. But all praise, honor, glory be to YAHAWAH Ba, the honor say those as an apostles, grave no stone, and Shalom.